Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the speakers in the iPhone 7. So first you want to make sure your device is powered off. Next I'm going to use a screwdriver size 0.8. It's a pentalobe size 0.8, and we're going to need to remove these two screws in the bottom of the phone right here. So go ahead and remove those screws. Alright guys, so the next thing I wanted to show you in this kit is a suction cup. You want to press down. Make sure that it's sealed good. You want to stay close to the home button but not over the home button because it will break the suction. So what we're going to do also is this really thin pry tool comes in the toolkit, and what we're going to do is try to get right above this speaker right here. We're going to try to slip in right here very carefully in between the frame and the screen right here. As you can see, it's starting to separate a little bit. Then we're going to use like this guitar pick or something thin that you have that you can pry around all the way around. I wanted to talk about there's a waterproof adhesive that goes all along the edge right here. And by doing this repair, it could affect how waterproof your iPhone 7 is, just to give you a heads up. They're not readily available yet, but there is some waterproof adhesive. I don't have any right now to show you, but I'll link to it in the video description that you can put back on here when you put your iPhone back together, and it should retain that waterproof seal. Like I said, they're not readily available yet. They're hard to come by, but they'll become more readily available as time goes on, I'm sure. So I just wanted to give that heads up that it could affect the waterproof of your iPhone 7. So next what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little upward tension on this right here. And I'm going to slip in right beside this thing here. I'll try to turn it this way to show you. And we're just going to carefully slide along here. We can remove this thing once we got it started. And we're going to cut through the adhesive here. Just come to this top corner here. Then we're going to go and we're going to slide along this side here. And now you don't want to stick in too far right here because there's some cables right here where the iPhone 7 screen is attached. So you want to just slide up through there. It's starting to separate here, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this suction cup now, and what you want to do, you can see it's starting to separate like this. Now the top has some tabs that stick under here, so we don't want to just pry straight up. Also, unlike other generations of the iPhone 7, the screen comes off and it tips like this, like a book. It doesn't tip up like it used to in previous generations. It tips this way, so just to give you a heads up about that. But what we're going to try to do is we want to bring this up a little bit, and if possible we want to cut this adhesive in here like this with this guitar pick or whatever you use. As you can see, it's starting to separate there, and there's that tab I was talking about. So you get it down far enough where you can tip it up like this. Then I'll set it like this so you can see. Then we should be able to just carefully tip it up like that. Now next, while you're holding the screen up like this, just past the 90 degrees, you don't want to put too much tension on these cables to tear these cables here. And we're going to use this screwdriver with a bit. It's called tri-point size 0.8. Now sometimes the manufacturers vary on the sizes, but in this kit mine's called 0.8. So Apple just kind of had to throw us for a loop and use a different kind of screw in this. So basically we're going to remove these four in this shield right here. So go ahead and remove those fours. Now make sure to keep them in the right order because they're different size. You don't want to mix them up. So next, after you remove those screws, I'm going to use the tweezers. You can use your fingers for this. And just grab this shield and set it off to the side with your screws. Next I'm going to use a plastic pry tool. You don't want to use anything metal for this. You can use a plastic pry tool. So let's go ahead and remove that connector. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Get that up out of there. So next, under this shield right here, there's two screws we're going to need to remove as well. It's holding this cable in here down. And this is a Phillips size 000. So you want to go ahead and remove those two Phillips screws. Next, we're going to use the tweezers and remove this shield right here. Set it off with your screws. Next, you want to grab your plastic pry tool, and you can go right under this corner right here. Just carefully pry up that connector, and the whole screen comes out just like that. Now since we pulled the screen off here, if you look on the edge here, there's some adhesive residue here. We'll want to go ahead and use the tweezers or something and get that all off of there. Once you get it started, it should peel right off. If this video was helpful to you, I would appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would help me out a lot. So next, to remove the loudspeaker here, we're going to need to use a Phillips screwdriver size 000, and we're going to need to remove these three screws in this feedback engine right here. Two screws here, this screw, and this screw. Go ahead and remove all those and make sure to keep them all separate so you know how they go back together. So next, you'll want to use something to carefully pry up under this part right here. I'm going to use the tweezers. You can use something thin, and be careful so you don't tear this. Just try to get under there, wiggle under there. It's stuck down with really strong adhesive. And you can see it just pulls up like this. So for now, we just want to get this loose like this. I'm going to make sure this haptic feedback engine is loose. Don't pull it out because it's still fastened here. We just want to loosen it. Then I'm just going to pick up carefully on the front side of this loudspeaker here, and we're just going to hold it and slowly tip it over. Now I'm going to use my tweezers so you can kind of see, but right in here, this antenna wire is clipped in here, so I'm going to unclip it out of both places right there. So I'll give you a better look here so you can see. So this antenna wire, the back one right here, the metal part, that clips in here, and then both of these antenna wires clip in here. So those are what you want to watch. So then you pull that out, and your whole loudspeaker comes out just like that. So to reinstall, grab your new loudspeaker. I'm going to turn it upside down here. Now this is going to be kind of hard to show, so first I'm just going to talk about it. So in reverse order, when we took this out, we're going to need to clip antenna wires back in these two spots right here. I would recommend getting these two top ones in first in this part, and then this single one here in this part. So you're going to kind of hold it down in here like this and clip them in. So now that you've got both of those wires clipped in there where they go, now we're going to carefully flip this over. You want to watch so this doesn't stick in there. Now as we're flipping this over, since this Taptic engine is loose, this little metal part right here with the screw hole in it needs to slide underneath the Taptic engine. That's how it was. So as we bring this over, you have to watch this so it's not in the way. Then we kind of need to get this bottom clipped in, then it slides down a little bit. As you can see, everything's going back into place here. And what we're going to do is stick this part back down. You can see where the holes are, where it clips in. So once you get the two holes lined up where this goes, you can press it down, make sure it sticks down good. Then just go ahead and put all your screws back in the speaker and all the screws in here. Now next, before you install the LCD screen, this is a time where if you do want to reapply the waterproof adhesive, then you go ahead and put it around all the way around on the edge here. So go ahead and do that next. If you're going on without that, then you can skip this step. Next, to reconnect the LCD screen, first we're going to connect this connector right in here, and this can be kind of a pain. Sometimes it's easier to like turn the screen a little bit, try to line this connector up the best you can. I would be careful what you stick in here as far as anything metal, but sometimes if you get it close, you can press down with something like this or something to get it started, and then you can finish it with your finger. It's a little tricky with this camera right here, so you got to watch that. So now that you got that connected, now we want to reconnect these two connectors here. So do the shortest one first, and go ahead and connect this connector. Now we can go ahead and reconnect the battery. So then you can grab this shield and set it down on top of here. Now this little foam piece that's right here where the camera will make this sit up for a little bit, but it'll compress once you put your screws in. So go ahead and put those two screws in. Now that you've got your two screws in up here, grab your shield here, set it down on top of this right here, and go ahead and put those 4 screws back in. So now that you got both shields all done and all the screws back in, let's go ahead and gently lay this down. Now as you got it here, clips right here, we want to get those started in there first. Then you can go ahead and just gently press that down all the way around. Then go ahead and put your 2 screws back in the bottom right there. And hopefully this video helped you. Thanks for watching.